All right.
Hopefully you edit it in a good way.
It's on.
All right, so taking you around the machine, we'll start with some of the maintenance items. So on this machine here, you obviously, the tracks are gonna tension quite a bit. The first year, this rubber is gonna stretch like crazy, more than probably most people expect. I usually tell people to go through, every time you're gonna use the machine, essentially lift up the entire track assembly, the whole chassis, put the blade down, put the bucket down on the other side, get the tracks up off the ground. Underneath the middle bogey wheel, if you can fit your pinky, you know, a little bit loose, that's probably a good place to be.
With it up and sagging.
And sagging. Check, always check it on the bottom, because on a surface like this little undulation can take up a good amount of slack, right? So this machine here has this this guard here, which also helps, you know, so you don't throw a track or anything like that. A lot of other machines don't have that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, essentially you have your threaded rod and a jam bolt. Jam nut rather.
Yep.
So all you're gonna do is thread that, loosen the jam bolt, or nut rather, thread that threaded rod in. It's gonna put tension on the front sprocket, and then once you feel like you have the tension where you like it, just lock down that jam bolt, and then you're good to go.
Perfect.
And then back over here, you have planetary drives. I forget what the manual calls for. It's probably like 500 hours or maybe 1,000 hours, something like that, but you can take a look in the manual. But real planetary drives. So either one of these can be a fill or a drain. Which, you know, as long as one of these are directly at the 6 o'clock position, the other one will be your fill port, and you're going to fill it up with gear oil until you get to that position. You know, typical gear oil, nothing particularly fancy. AutoZone, you know, it doesn't have to be the exact weight gear oil, but in the manual, I'm sure it has a recommendation. But you know, it doesn't take much gear oil in this size planetary drive. Let's take a peek under the hood. So change the oil. I usually recommend 10 to 20 hours on the Kubota engine. It has high zinc break-in oil in it from the factory. Kubota manual recommends 50 hours. I usually like to do it a little bit earlier than that and run another round of high zinc engine oil, break-in oil. Over here, for maintenance items, you have your oil dipstick is right here by the starter, pretty easy to get to. You have your engine oil filter right here. You have your water separator here. It has a red float inside this water separator. As it comes up to this line, that's basically telling you it's time to service it, unscrew it, drain it all out. The way you do that, just shut off this valve, unscrew this, drop this off, dump it out, clean it out, put it back. When you're ready, turn it back on. This is your main fuel filter. Yep. Like low micron or whatever it's called. You have your lift pump here, and then you also, somewhere else, actually, no, I'm sorry. This machine, I don't think, oh yes, it does, right here. So here's your filter for the diesel right here.
Gotcha.
Okay, so just the inline hose. Don't have to change this one usually as much as you change this one here. Okay. It's just a pre-screen essentially. You have your air filter assembly here. It's the two-part air filter assembly. You have the smaller inner one and then the larger outer one, just like any other excavator would have. Okay. And then this being a 902, you also have the upgraded alternators. They're not like the 722, so you have a bit more charging capability. And then you obviously your engine oil fill is going to be right there on the top of the valve cover. Pretty simple to get. This machine here doesn't have like a, you know, a generic battery shutoff switch. It has a main ignition solenoid. Yep. So, you know, just like a car engine would have, something like that, where you have that main ignition on and everything's run by relays. There's no battery shutoff switch to turn on and off. You should be good to go there. Okay. Prop rod, put it down. That's all the typical maintenance stuff under the hood. All right. Changing the oil drain plug is right down at the bottom of the chassis. There's a big opening. The oil pan is, you know, kind of not sticking out through the opening, but kind of a little bit above the opening, so that way you don't catch it on anything. Yep. What else? You obviously have the digital display here, which is going to be your hour meter, your battery voltage, your temperature gauge, and your fuel level indicator. Inside here, you have the hydraulic fluid, and you also have the diesel, marked diesel hydraulic fluid. They do look similar. Here is your Kubota engine tag. This is what you would need to go online and register your engine. Okay. You can get the factory warranty through Kubota for this engine. You need the model number, serial number, all that information.
Is there a charge associated with that, or is that just free?
That's free, yeah. Okay. Yep, with every Kubota engine package. On the sight glass for the hydraulic fluid, basically anywhere from the middle to like 3/4 should be just fine.
Okay.
The whole idea is you want to leave enough space so that way, if you have everything, all the pistons retracted in, that it has some place to flow without coming out the fill cap, right?
Sure.
Down the bottom over here, as far as your hydraulic oil tank, you have a big plug somewhere over here. I'm trying to feel with my hands.
I think it's that silver one right back here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
There you go. No, I don't think that's it.
That's
actually.
not it?
No. Right here. Sorry.
Oh, I got
it's
it.
kind of in a cutout.
Yep.
But it's a big Allen-headed plug. I usually tell guys, take this, get it so it's in between your tracks. That way you can put a big pail underneath there.
Okay.
It's probably going to be 5-6 gallons that's going to drain out. So definitely make sure you're conscious of that, or else you're going to overfill something and then make a huge mess. But I usually say, you know, probably if you were to change it at like 50 hours for the first time, after that, follow the factory recommendation. I think it's every 200 hours.
Okay.
If it was my machine and I wasn't putting 200 hours on the machine every year, which a lot of people don't, to be honest, I would still recommend changing it at least once a year, kind of like they would recommend oil changes every 6 months or mileage.
Okay.
Kind of sort of like that kind of thing. Cheap insurance,
Yeah.
hydraulic fluid's cheap, 40 bucks.
Yep.
Easy to do, right?
Sure.
Grease the machine. I usually tell guys, grease the machine every 10 hours of actual work. And a lot of times that might be 20 hours of work because it's idling, it's stopped, you're doing this, you're doing that. So you might be able to get away with 20 hours.
Okay.
When you grease the machine, usually it makes a bit of a mess to some degree. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to clean it up, or if you're a sloppy guy, then you just leave it there. But for me, I gotta clean it up at least to some degree. Usually whatever I wipe up, I'll put it on the expanding tracks, slather that up, make sure that's well greased. But in terms of grease points, you have your swing boom piston here. This one right here has a flat face fitting right here. A lot of guys change them out. Me personally, I love these things. I've never seen one break off, to be honest with you. I mean, unless, you know, somebody over tightened it or something like that. But in terms of like hitting it or anything like that, they always take grease. I love them, to be honest with you. So you have needle tip there. Basically on every side of every piston, you're gonna have a needle tip style fitting. So that's the way they come from the factory in terms of the piston factory, right? Like the people who are manufacturing the actual pistons themselves.
Okay.
So they'll have one on every end. So one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. And then of course you have your blade as well, right?
Sure.
So your blade, got one here, got one up here. Obviously you can see this machine has a humongous blade, very, very good for stability. You have regular Zerk fitting here on both sides of the blade. You have a regular Zerk fitting here for your swing boom main pin. And then you have a regular Zerk fitting up here. Obviously lift up the boom, you can get better access to it.
Gotcha.
Or put it down and then you can get through the hoses, whatever is more convenient for you. So another grease point there. Up here, hydraulic thumb actually has grease points on it. So if you look on the other side, it has regular Zerk fittings inside the bolt itself. Many machines don't have grease fittings here, so you have a regular Zerk fitting on both of these pins.
Okay.
And then up here you have a Zerk fitting, a needle style Zerk fitting here. To be honest with you, you don't need to grease this like very often because it barely pivots, but occasionally throw some grease in there.
Okay.
The other main pin that you have is right here on the boom. Regular Zerk fitting, so just spread out the hoses and then you can get right to it pretty easily.
Gotcha.
Down here, as well as the middle one, you also have 2 Zerk fittings here. You have one here for this lower pin. And then right at the bottom of the boom, you have a Zerk fitting for this other one for the bucket. And then last but not least, you have one right here. And that Zerk fitting is protected right here. Okay?
I see.
Actually, 2 more grease fittings. I know there's a lot of grease fittings, but so you have 2 more grease fittings here. One is for the slewing gear, one is for the side swing boom, the inner joint. So you have 2. Usually I tell guys, grease it with the boom in this position, do 90 degrees, grease it in this position, so on and so forth until you get all the way back around. You know, good 10 clicks would probably not be bad.
Okay.
Once you have a good buildup of grease in there, you might, you know, lay off a little bit the next time you grease it, but in general. So grease the machine every 10 hours, change the oil, change the hydraulic fluid about 50 hours, and then after that every 200 hours. And I only say to change the hydraulic fluid at 50 hours because it's a metal fabricated tank at the end of the day. It has the pre-screen filter. It also has the inline filter, but you know, it's probably not a bad idea. Of course, all these components are out and about on a factory floor. Can they get a little bit of dirt and debris in them? Sure, of course. So not a bad idea to change out a little bit early. Obviously on this machine, you have the elongated thumb. You got the quick coupler, so paired with the quick coupler is a good combination. You also have the premium 3-way valves, which is just a handle that you can throw, so to divert the fluid down to here.
Sure.
You can put quick connects here if you want to, make your life even easier.
Okay.
It's up to you. This machine, it's got planetary drives. So when you engage, the way you engage the 2-speed, when this is down, pilots are engaged and they're live, you're in the first speed. When you lift this console up, these become dead, and now you're in the second speed, and it travels pretty close to twice as fast.
Okay.
You have your hydraulic thumb function is here. You have your tracks, and then you have your blade function. These are all short throw, so very, very little movement needed. You don't have to put these in your crotch like a lot of other models. And then, of course, you have a properly designed boom with a nice long piston, which makes the machine, or makes the boom, very, very smooth. This machine is a very, very smooth machine. This also, too, just to kind of point it out, since you're recording, this machine has a dual stage pump. I'm gonna just say this out loud. There's huge differences with 2-stage pumps in terms of size, flow capabilities, all those sort of things. But the one thing that's really cool about this is it has the pressure relief valve built into the second pump. So whatever is left after it goes to the pilot circuit, right? Because that's part of that function of the second pump, is to regulate the pressure for the pilot side to down to, like, let's say 350, 400 PSI.
Sure.
For the hydraulic over hydraulic. But the rest of that pump is also used for the functions of the machine.
Okay.
Unlike a lot of other ones, they have a 2-stage pump, usually flows less, and the other pump, because it has an external regulator, it's regulated and then it returns back to tank, thereby wasting any kind of benefit to having a second pump, right? So
I understand.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, put the expanded tracks in and out occasionally. There's grease points on the pistons over here. Keep in mind, do you have to grease them all that often? Probably not, because it's just going straight out, straight in. It's not really something that's pivoting.
Right.
I mean, occasionally put a little bit of grease just so nothing seizes up, but not something you have to grease as much as the boom and all those pins and that kind of thing.
Okay.
What else? Showed you, I think, just about, to engage the expanded tracks, you have a switch up there on that console that says telescoping tracks. You flick that switch and now your blade function essentially becomes the expanded tracks. And the best way to do that is put the boom down on one side, put the blade down on the other side, similar to lifting it up to check the track tension. Do that, and then then you can bring the tracks in and out nice and easy without plowing into material, depending on where you are, or putting a whole bunch of strain on the chassis unnecessarily, right?
Okay.
And then, of course, if you bring the tracks in, you can take out these wings, just pop out this pin, and then fold it right in, and it should be good to go.
Wonderful.
Not a bad idea to slather a little bit of grease on here too, particularly if you leave it in this position most of the time. Not a bad idea to grease these pins, slather them up, every time you grease the machine or whatever, just so nothing becomes seized or anything like that.
Sure.
Depending on how often you do it.
Awesome.
What else? Any questions for me?
I don't have any questions.
I know I talk fast and I kind of get to rambling, so.
No.
Yeah,
This is,
but
this
it's got
is
the
all
nice
good.
premium seat, better than a lot of the other ones. Very, very comfortable seat. You have this warning light here. Usually when it comes in for shipping, usually it's down. I put it up, but obviously since I was on the highway,
Right.
I didn't want this thing flying around. It's just magnetic to the base here.
Okay.
So if you want, you could just cut these off and you'd be good to go.
Yeah, all right.
And you're gonna keep this inside, so you don't need to cover or anything
Yeah, it's
like
going
that.
right in the garage.
Perfect. So,
Yeah.
always better to put it inside, or at least put a cover on it. Not that they're not meant to be outside, but
Did you
if
want to
you leave
mention?
me outside too long, I'll go to shit too. So
Did you want to mention your company?
yeah, so Empire Construction Equipment. You can check this machine out. We have a bunch of different models from essentially 1 ton all the way up to very soon up to 6.5 ton. In stock now, I have up till about 3 ton. So you're welcome to check us out. Check the website out. Me being only one man, it's difficult for me to update the website sometimes, but if you ever have any questions or ask about inventory, feel free, give me a call. There's also too, we sell parts to anybody for any machine, anywhere in the country. I deliver parts or ship parts all over the United States. For people who don't know where to get parts, whether you have AGT, CFG industrials, kind of like the auction models, doesn't matter. I can help you get those parts if you need them. But more importantly, take a look at upgrading to one of our machines, which I think is definitely much more premium than you're going to find at some of the auctions and stuff like that. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time.
thank you.